Good evening, everybody. I hope you all are well. Thank you. Thank you, phone. Good evening, everybody. I hope you all are well. Good evening, everybody. I hope you all are well. Good evening, everybody. I hope you're all well. Also, I probably should post this in the Discord. What's up, twin doggas? And what's up, Tight Said? Hold on. I should post this on the Twitters. And I should also post this on the Discords. Discord. YouTube. I have to remind myself because I have Twitter sub for Twitch, so I can't just put up like a normal Twitch thing like I normally would. Put enter. Add everyone. Boom. Boom. Okay, cool. So that's on. What's up, Clocked It? And I didn't intentionally mean to do that, but hey, what's up, Slang? What's up, Clocked It? Congrats on the Switch OLED, bro. It's a good system, and despite what half of the fan base, including Nintendo fans, would tell you, it is a good system. So I hope you enjoyed. I enjoyed. It looks nice. Everyone's waiting for that Switch 2. Ooh, that Switch 2, baby. Ooh. Sorry, I gotta stop. Hold on. I'm just posting to the proper social media so everybody sees that we live out here. Thank Jesus Christ, I already got 8 viewers. Let's go. The one thing I noticed is that I get more viewers on YouTube. The problem is that my YouTube subscribers care less about like gaming streams, which is a weird juxtaposition, but that's really what it is. Like, you guys, Epic won the console war, y'all. Y'all had shit. So if there's gaming topics you want to discuss, you are free to bring them up. I do have my own set of topics, so I might get to it in the latter half of the stream, but in the beginning half, we're gonna kind of focus on the title in question, and this mainly stems from the whole recent news of Xbox outselling PlayStation and the fan base being like, holy shit, PlayStation must have fucked up if Xbox is selling better than them in Japan. We're gonna talk about that and kind of go into some other things. Oh, I need to put it on Twitter. That's right. I tried to say I was gonna do YouTube streams more consistently, and to be fair, I have, but not as much as I would have wanted to. So let's tweet this out. Boom. Okay, so I think we've. What's up, Z Killer? So I think we've addressed. I think I posted to all the respectable social medias. Thank you guys. Thank you for the 9 views. It says 11, but it's confusing me. I don't know. The shit will constantly update as we go along here. But yeah, thank you guys for support, and welcome to another stream. Like I said, I wanted to make these more consistent. I've done all right this year, but I feel like I could have done better. There was just a really bad lull for a few weeks that did not help me in terms of anything. So let's talk. Smash that like button, baby. Smash it, because I think you guys like the more like talkative streams than me playing a game. Like, I like playing games, but I think Twitch is where the game stream stuff will happen, and this is where I'll just have the conversation streams. So let's talk about the recent news that Xbox outsold PlayStation in their home country of Japan, and how the current console war, quote unquote, is looking. So hold on, I just want to make sure I have that article up right. Give me one sec. I might forget to say it, so I'll say it now. Do you think paying to play online is a good thing? Because these services aren't worth it, in my opinion. I blame Microsoft for when it comes to Xbox Live. No. I very much believe Xbox's biggest contribution to gaming as a whole was always its online. Like, to me, as a console manufacturer, as a games creator. Hold on. One second. I feel like my nephew's yelling. One sec. Okay, my bad, my bad. My inherent paranoia now has me running as if I need to run. But no, what I was saying is that Xbox's biggest contribution to gaming was always playing online. And because of that, they're the first ones to have a paid online system. And the other two companies really just followed suit. Sony following suit in the same generation, but I think having the fairest option. I think that's really what should have happened. What should have happened is that if you're gonna give me pay online, you should have gave me the option. I still think the PS3 has the best, was the best handling of online, because it gave me a free option if all I wanted to do was play games online, but gave me a paid option if I wanted more, features and all the little extra shit. Like, if I cared about for online gaming, then I 100% would spend the extra money for the extra features that PlayStation offered. But because there's no point in doing that when there's no reason they have to. Like, there was no reason for Sony to keep doing that, especially when they could just make you pay for it. And that's exactly what they did. They made you fucking pay for it, and there was nothing really the consumer did about it. Even Nintendo made you fucking pay for it. And spoiler alert, we paid for it. And this is coming from a guy who actively refused to pay for online all the way up until Switch made it mandatory. It wasn't until the Switch I had ever paid for an online system. And I think I made a video even saying I'm a part of the problem because I bought an online subscription for the Switch. And now I've had it for every console at least once. I've had PlayStation Plus, I've had Xbox Game Pass Ultimate gives you gold with it, so that was my first experience with gold. And now it's Switch Online. And so now, but to me, that was Xbox's biggest contribution in gaming, was the ability to let you play online. They were the first company to do it, and they did it well. But that's it. That's it. That's your biggest contribution to gaming. Because everything else another company had done. Now, maybe you could make the argument that Xbox perfected certain things in gaming, but in my opinion, the only thing they really did, and I think they're part of the issue with money hatting. Like, a lot of people remember, if anyone remembers in the 360 PS3 days, there was a lot of money hatting going around. And it was absolutely abysmal. And to be fair, Xbox at the time were the kings of money hatting, and then we got to the PS4 generation, and PlayStation said, fuck all that noise, we're going to be the kings of money hatting. Thank you for the $5. Eric. I thought there would be, I don't know why I'm so used to YouTube names being more complex. I'm just surprised it's just Eric. But thank you. I appreciate it. Damn, that was quick. I didn't expect that. Thank you. Hold on, let me see. Oh, the little dude's doing good. I was just paranoid. He's sleeping in the next room, and if I'm too loud, I'm afraid I'm gonna wake him up. And he's been sleeping for a few hours, so it wouldn't surprise him if he gets up in a minute. Let me go back to clock this point. Even all those Sony lovers in Japan are like, man, that's just the PSP. That PS5 is just too big for my capsule room. I'm going to get me that box Xbox instead. All right, so let's get into it. So going off of the numbers, according to the sales data published by Famitsu, Xbox Series S, it's the Xbox Series S on its own, not including the Series X, sold 6,120 units, whereas the PS5 and PS5 Digital Edition only sold a combined 2,693 units. So for comparison, last week the PlayStation 5 sold almost 50,000 units, whereas the Xbox Series S only sold 10,000, which appears to suggest that, like in many parts of the world, the sales fluctuation is due to the availability of consoles, which they kind of already hit and explain it. The reason why the Xbox outsold the PlayStation was literally the fact that you can't buy a PlayStation. I haven't even been able to see the opportunity to buy a PlayStation 5. So Xbox owners are getting all fucking hyped, like, yeah, that's Xbox Nation, baby. Xbox domination. And I'm like, we can't find the console. Now, granted, that's still an L on Sony's part because, bitch, we're going into your second year of having a console and nobody can buy this bitch. Like, you're wondering why, like, people are sitting there like, I don't understand why these sales are so low. Well, because you have a bunch of supply shortages for chips and various other parts to make the consoles. And let's be real here, Xbox is just more readily available than fucking PlayStation is. Like, the PS5 is just not available. Exactly. The closest you've ever seen a PS5, I would say, is those display models in stores. You can't even, actually, you can't buy any of the consoles straight. I was in the Best Buy a couple days ago, and instead of having consoles, and they even do this for some of the controllers, they got those little vouchers, those laminated vouchers where you have to walk up to the front desk with the voucher and be like, give it to the guy, and then they gotta go get it from the back. They're not even confident enough to put it out in the actual like thing because it would only be there for a few seconds. Like that's how bad. And Xbox has it, but PlayStation doesn't. You still can't normally buy a PS5. I have enough money to buy a PS5, and all I have to do is, oh wait, exactly. And not to mention, Sony even stated they ship less to Japan, unlike the West. Exactly, they focused overly on the West. So now, even if you were a Japanese owner and you want it, a lot of people also don't realize that the Xbox Series X, like I said, because I own the fucking console now, is a viable system in its own, which is great. But it also means that like some people are just buying Xboxes because they're available. It's literally, we have a situation where people have the money and have the want to buy the console and cannot buy the console. I'll give you I'll say this. I'm gonna make a bold statement. So if anyone remembers back, I want to say 2012, 2013, 2014, when the Amiibo craze was pretty fucking high. If you were a part of that squad like I was, you took time off work, you skipped days, you went on your lunch break to show up at a Toys R Us, RIP, a fucking Target, a Walmart, a fucking Best Buy, because you knew certain retailers had exclusive releases for exclusive Amiibo, and we sat in line like a bitch to get those Amiibo, like crazy people. We all did it because that's I would say the shortage for a PS5 is worse than that. That's a personal opinion. You are free to disagree. But it feels like the PS5 is even rarer than that because I could at least see certain Amiibos in the fucking store. They weren't high quantities either. But God, this is fucking dumb. Like people always accused Nintendo of like artificially like restricting like artificially acting like there was more demand. And people were like, fuck, I can't, I want to get Ike, I want to get Wii Fit Trainer, I want to get Mega Man, I want to get Sonic, right? And you couldn't find half of them bitches after the first day. That if you didn't go in that first day, and usually within the first few hours, you were, hell, in most cases, it was the first hour. Like, if you weren't there within the first hour, you lost that shit. It feels like the PS5 is as rare as that, if not worse. Because I have yet to see a box PS5 that you can pick up in the store and buy. Unless your ass is on Twitter, following people who give you updates to when new PlayStations hit the stores, and then you run over there like a crazy person to fucking pre-order it or get it like delivered to the house. To the point where scalping is a more viable thing to do now for the PlayStation consoles. And in most cases, what's really happening is that people got the money to spend. They're like, you know what? I think I'm gonna just give Xbox some money, and I think I'm just gonna buy Xbox One. It's not even that they prefer Xbox. You can't get the console you want, and they're like, fuck it. And almost everybody owns a Switch, so what the fuck? Oh yeah, I have Lucario and Greninja. I actually have a decent bit of Amiibos that are still boxed, by the way. Don't even know if I ever plan to sell those or what, but I have a fuck ton of them. I bought doubles for some of them because I just like them so much. Yeah, most people are paying scalpers to get PS5s. It's better to get that bunch of maybe 5 to 10 people who are really focused on like getting those consoles, and then paying a slight $100, $150, $200 upcharge, because at least then you would have the stupid fucking console. Which makes it even worse if you hear about these consoles having issues, like how every fucking console manufacturer uses the same analog sticks. So all that drifting bullshit that was happening with the Switch is happening with every other console. It's like, bro, what the fuck is going on? Why is it I can buy PS5 controllers, but I can't buy the console that the controllers work for? What the fuck do I need why do I need the controller for if I can't buy the console? At Walmart, I work at one. Yeah, I was there. A Series S is available, and Series X you can usually buy off the Microsoft store. Even though a Series X is still kind of rare, it's at least feasible for you to run into a store and possibly get one, versus a PS5 that you'll never see. Which gets into the current state of the console war, because you had all these fucking Xbox fans so motherfucking excited, like, bro, we out here dominating in your home country. Oh, you mean the country that like Sony has actively neglected? Like, it's been reports for months, going into years, that Sony has slowly but surely made more and more efforts to distance themselves away from their home country. They're like, America's where is the money at, So we're gonna focus on America, which kind of baffles me because I'm gonna be real here. This is the same shit Capcom did and failed at back during the PS3 360 generation, where they kept trying to Americanize all their IPs and they kept trying to push it more to the States. You even got certain IPs that are exclusively more meant for American audiences. And you made some money, but in the grand scheme of things, fucking Capcom was like, yeah, I don't think this shit's worth it. And everyone in the fan base was like, thank God you figured it out. PlayStation, for some reasons, like, well, I think we're gonna do the same thing again. We're gonna do the same thing again. We're gonna do what Capcom did at this point, what, 10 years ago? 10 years ago? We're just gonna repeat that shit for a generation. Well, actually, we're going into 2 generations, honestly, because be real, the PS4 started it. But, like, getting back to the console war conversation, the main thing that I think, like, people don't understand is it's not really a console war. That one, the Switch is winning 110%. You're not even beating the Switch in general, and that's only just. And at this point, it's just because you can't buy the other consoles consistently. And here's the kicker: the Switch has its own like rarity to it. Like it's hard to find a Switch 2. Don't get it twisted. But like, it's easier to buy a Nintendo Switch Lite or normal or OLED or extra battery, whichever one you want to go for. You can buy those way easier than you can buy like a fucking PlayStation 5 or an Xbox One. I feel like Sony and Xbox, see, and the kicker was that to me, Sony didn't even need to release a new console. And it almost doesn't seem like it was worth anything because almost every game that's come out so far is you can play on either platform. You can play on the PS4 or the PS5. Horizon can be on both. Spider-Man, both Spider-Mans can be on both except for the weird remastered one where they've locked it behind Spider-Man Miles Morales Ultimate Edition. Ghost of Tsushima, you can play on both. So why in the fucking hell do you need a PS5? You don't need a PS5, but I can make... PlayStation was sitting pretty in sales. PlayStation was sitting pretty in terms of game output. Literally, the year that they switched, they went to their new generation, they had 2 new games of high profile come out on their fucking system. So it wasn't like people were like, fuck, man, there ain't nothing to play on PS4. I guess we need that new console to come in. But it was like, well, Xbox has their new console. But I'm like, yeah, but Xbox needed it. Like, people can say what they want about the Wii U. But most Nintendo fans at least were happy with some of the offerings on the Wii U. The Xbox One was appealing to no one. In terms of, like, game quality, nothing from Xbox specifically was coming out to be like, fuck, man, the Halo games that came out, ass. State of Decay, ass. Crackdown, ass. Recore, somewhere between ass and mediocre. What the fuck? Alan Wake, mediocre to who gives a fuck. Rise, mediocre, who gives a fuck. What else? Killer Instinct started off so poorly that by the time it got its shit together, no one gave a fuck anymore. Then you got a couple of games that were cool, like fucking Sunset Overdrive, which you don't have to play on the system. Holy shit. Thank you, Prince Revolver. You act like I wasn't gonna buy Xenoblade Chronicles 3 anyway, bro. What the fuck, bro? Thank you, bro. God damn. Jesus Christ. Thank you. I truly appreciate that, bro. Damn. You act like I wasn't gonna buy that regardless, man. I'm buying that game regardless. Fuck, that messed me up. But yeah, like the Xbox's console needed the Xbox brand needed another console. The problem is that Xbox has no interest in making a console that people really give a fuck about, because even though the box is perfectly good, in some ways I would say it's probably better manufactured than the PlayStation 5. What are you playing on it? We kind of got into this in the Juices Loose on Monday, if you guys caught that. But literally, I'm sitting over in the corner going, what the fuck are you playing on your Xbox that's like unique to the Xbox brand that actually is considered high quality? The only game I think we have is fucking, what, Halo? Is that it? Was Halo the newest game? I feel like there's another one I'm missing. But like, I mean, obviously you can play Elden Ring on it, but I'm talking about like Xbox exclusive. Like, you know, all those fucking partnerships they went through and all the games you thought you were going to get because of this exclusive partnership. And either nothing's come out of it or the games have been mediocre as fuck. You know my most exciting thing on Xbox I'm looking forward to that I'm probably not going to buy on Xbox? That Cuphead DLC. When that Cuphead DLC comes out, which I think it comes out next month, when that shit hits, That's what I fucking care about. But that's not it's not really Xbox. It's from the company that Xbox owns. Like, and that's what first. So it's like when we have the console war conversation, I'm like, what war? You mean, all right? Let's think about it. You got all three consoles are hard to find in stores, all right, but two of the three are insanely hard to find in stores, and one of those two is almost damn near impossible to find in stores. You cannot find that shit in stores. So what war could you can't even have the sales argument because all the consoles are hard to find, and some of them are, and it gets increasingly worse the further you go down the list. So Switch is probably the easiest, which still has its rarities. Xbox is the second easiest, and it's harder to find than the Switch, and PlayStation is damn near impossible to find in stores. So you can't do the sales war because the Switch was out for what, 2 to 3 years longer than Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. So you can't do that, or it would be another game. But once again, that's not really. Ori isn't really like it's another one of those. Well, Xbox owns the company, but they're not really making the game kind of thing. So you can't do the war with sales. And then if you talk about game quality, well, Switch would beat you just off of the fucking 2 to 3 years started ad. They're killing you with for those who missed the Juices Loose, I'm going to reference that a lot because we did talk about some of those things on Juices Loose. On Juices Loose, we went through the sales numbers of a bunch of fucking games, just their Switch counterparts, not even their variations on Wii U that they originally come from. There ain't no singular IP that's only on their base console, Xbox or PlayStation, that's hitting numbers like fucking Mario Kart 8 Deluxe like that. So we can't have the argument of games. And then if we're talking about amount, you lose to the Switch immediately. So now the argument becomes between PlayStation and Xbox. And Xbox has completely hoed itself in terms of any game you're excited about exclusive to the platform. Because let's be real here, most Xbox games aren't exclusive to the fucking platform. You can buy them on other systems. Hell, in some cases, you can buy them not only on PC, but like on the PlayStation and Switch as well. So arguably, the PlayStation would win that bet. I mean, hell, their newest game, Horizon, doing pretty well, although it did get essentially snuffed out by Elden Ring. I mean, granted, it's still money either way for them, but that's just something to be noted of. But hell, at least that's an exclusive. Horizon is a fucking Sony exclusive title. But then you look over the Xbox and you're like, what else is coming? I don't even think we have release dates for anything coming at all. You can make arguments, at least the PS5 is released titles, Miles Morales, Ratchet and Clank, Horizon. They've already talked about God of War, which, hey, that's another situation of what's coming out for the rest of this year. That's probably the biggest problem we have with both of those two consoles. What are you playing on those two consoles for the rest of this year? I have no fucking idea. You have an inkling for PlayStation. For fucking Xbox, you have no earthly idea. Also, I think we have 37 views. Holy shit. Thank you for the goddamn views. Jesus Christ, guys. But let me go back and scroll through the comments. I feel like I missed some stuff. Also, during that time, the Nintendo 3DS was still blooming hard. That's true. Funny how I beat both of the previous games, and this month I'm really excited for Z3. I am too. Xenoblade 3 should be great. I mean, I can play Xbox games, except I can do that on PC. Exactly. Another Forza, of course. Yes, Xbox owns studios, therefore they're made by Xbox Game Studios. Yeah, but like you wouldn't. Most of those games are either in development or had finished development by the time they were bought. So you don't. Most people don't view Cuphead or the original Ori as like Xbox games, because they were bought out towards the end of their development. So those first games, now for Ori, maybe the second game, sure, but like the first game, probably not. Cuphead, probably not. Hellblade, probably not. Like you would view Hellblade 2 as that. It's the same thing that people said about the Switch. You don't view their accomplishments through like Wii U ports. You view it by the quality of their own games. The fact that their number one game is essentially a Wii U port, a fixed Wii U port, isn't really a Switch accomplishment as much as it's viewed. I mean, is more of it's just a Wii U compliment. The game was already good, and the Switch just added a couple things to put it on a console with a bigger install base, and they really got to shine like it deserved to. The Switch's major accomplishment would probably be more of Animal Crossing: New Horizons. That would be the Switch's accomplishment because that was a Switch game. That's the difference. My issue with Microsoft is that they have so many studios, but none of their games are close to being done. Exactly, that's the other fucking problem. Half of the problem is that you don't have the games, and the other half of the problem is we're still waiting for you to finish the games, and it's 2022, and nothing else has come out. Nothing else has come out. What else do we have? What else do we have? Yeah, Xboxes hold themselves after the 360. Agree. Horizon will come to PC about 2 years, probably. But for now, as a Sony owner, you can play it exclusively. So that's still better than having nothing. Starfield and Redfall are in 2023. That's still another year. You gotta wait. We're only in May of this year. The earliest those games will come out is in January. And let's be real, both those games ain't coming out in January of 2023. So you're waiting more than 6 months for another game. And you don't even have a specific month. It's just 2023, which could easily be December 2023. The fuck? Gran Turismo got people mad and all the DRM stuff. It's crazy that they have nothing to show for the second year market. I don't even remember them having anything to show in the first half of this year. The showcase is this June. True, but let's be real here. For those in the chat, let's play a game. When is the last time, and someone please let me know, when was the last time Xbox Showcase got you excited for Xbox games? Remember, Xbox has had problems since the Xbox One era. So if you keep that in mind, that tells me we haven't had like a really exciting Xbox conference in how long? You've had the thing with Xbox's conferences is that they're not bad, they're not terrible. They're usually fine in most cases. They're like, oh look, they showed off a bunch of games. They showed off a bunch of titles. But you know what the problem with all that is? None of them make you excited about an Xbox. You know what most people do? I'll get that on PC. I'll get that on PlayStation. In some cases, I'll get that on Switch. Like, that's what people do. They're like, oh man, this is a cool game. But guess what? I'm going to get it on another console. Or I'm going to get it on PC. And maybe you'll get the occasional, oh, I'll get that on Xbox. But like, when's the last time you've been hyped? Like, insanely hyped. And I've had my issues with PlayStation conferences as well. But PlayStation at least has exclusives to get people excited for those games. God of War was exciting for some people. Miles Morales was exciting. Ratchet & Clank was exciting. Especially since Ratchet & Clank essentially disappeared for a console generation, for God's sakes. Other than the fucking movie tie-in game, which is technically a remake of the first game. I'm just trying to figure out, when the hell have you been overly excited for an Xbox conference? What came out? What was the E3 showcase last year? Hey, yo, what's up, Antrite? Back in 2011 when they showed Halo 4. That's the other thing you got to keep in mind. Hey, Lightning. That's the other thing you got to keep in mind. Halo Infinite didn't even get people excited, other than the fact there was another Halo, because people forget the last Halo game people were overly excited about was 4. Like, I just read it. Black Doom just mentioned. Halo 4 was the last game people were excited about. And people forget that Halo 5 was a thing, and no one talks about it. And Halo Infinite came out, and people were kind of excited until they saw the visuals and went, nope, this is not it. So when people talk about console war shit still, I'm like, bro, how is that even a viable conversation anymore? Because if we're being objective, Nintendo's killing it. Between the three main consoles, Nintendo's killing it. And between Xbox and Microsoft, Xbox and PlayStation, it's just an argument of which one is the least shitty. The Xbox is not as bad because you have Game Pass to play a bunch of old titles, and it's more available. But PlayStation has more exclusives that are locked to the PlayStation brand, but you can't buy the console to play those fucking games. You're in a cat. Even if you want to do Xbox versus PlayStation, it's a fucked matchup because you're not getting anything out of it. You can't even buy one of the consoles. And the one you can buy, there's nothing exclusive to the console you want to play, because anything else you wanted to play on Xbox, you can buy on PC. And in some cases, you can buy on PlayStation and Switch. It's like, bro, there is no console war, because we're not even fighting on even ground. It's like Nintendo's on this big ass fucking hill in the corner talking about fight peasants. That's what it feels like. It feels like Nintendo is sitting on a throne with a goddamn crown on its head, looking down at PlayStation and Xbox fighting about being second place, but they're both fighting with like broken sticks. Half of PlayStation's stick is cut off because you can't buy the console, and Xbox's stick is cut off because you don't have exclusive titles you want to play on it. And I'm just like, there is no console war. There will probably not be a true continuation of the console war for a while, a long while, because we're still waiting for fucking supply to catch up for all these consoles. And here's the kicker of all of that. More than likely, by the time that happens, we'll probably be in the third year of PlayStation and Xbox, and Nintendo more than likely will be in their transitioning year to put out something like fucking their Switch 2, which, based off of talks that they've mentioned in their financial meeting, they're talking about, well, we're going to make this a smooth transition into a new console, meaning we'll get backwards compatibility and proper online continuation instead of resetting every generation. And if that fucking happens, it's fucking over. If I can buy a new console that has some of the most well-crafted titles and new shit on better hardware, man, get the fuck out of here, bro. Get out of here, bro. Get out of here. But let me look. I missed. Nintendo proved multiple times that the house IPs are important. They fumbled with the 3DS and recovered. They fumbled with the Wii U and a little with the Switch and recovered. Sony hurts me so bad. Sony hurts me, dog. I want to play Ratchet and Clank, but I can't play it. Exactly. Why? I don't see any issue with the comment section. Is this sitting on the throne letting them dangle because they know they're big? Exactly. I don't care what anyone says. Nintendo is the best at making their own IPs. That's because they still value it. That's the main difference. Nintendo openly values its own IPs. Xbox has never valued its IPs. Xbox did that shit in the beginning because they fucking had to. In the beginning, Xbox was like, we're coming out the gate. We gotta make unique IPs to get people somewhat interested in our console. Thank you for the 51 viewers. God damn, I appreciate it, guys. But Xbox in the beginning, you had to start off with something, so that's what Xbox did. The 360 went for exclusives, but it never went for owning its own IPs. They would get exclusive rights for games a certain amount of time, like BioShock and shit like that. Games they don't own, but they had the rights to have them on their console exclusively. That's that whole money hatting bullshit. And it bit them in the ass, because once PlayStation got its shit together, and Sony did a hell of a recovery. That's a hell of a Cinderella story for PS3. I give PS3 a lot of props for that. When Sony got their shit together, dog, that curb stomp turned into a really close ass race. And I think PlayStation won that at the end of it all, if I remember correctly. PlayStation's beat the Xbox 360. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but still. Yeah, fucking, it was absolutely nuts, and and Xbox never really recovered. They started trying to use IP. Ironically enough, it feels like the Xbox One did the same thing the 360 did, but worse. The 360 at least got good titles in its beginning run. The Xbox One got jack shit and all. You had a couple of titles that may have been alright, but there was nothing really stand out. And Gears got hoard to death. In some ways, they kind of copied what fucking PlayStation does, where PlayStation put out 3 fucking iterations of the same IP on the same console. That's why you had Uncharted 1 through 3 on one console, and then had Uncharted 4 plus DLC on the next console. But see, PlayStation does that thing where it rotates through its IPs and then and creates new ones. The thing that sucks about PlayStation, that PlayStation never goes back and revisits their old IPs. There's only a couple of IPs from PlayStation that get some consistent use, which is a shame. And I think even people made jokes about it. How is it that fucking Nintendo handled Banjo better than Microsoft did? The most Microsoft has done with Banjo in recent years is just give him a port of his old games on that rare replay. And we don't talk about, and Crash is kind of different because Crash, I I think I don't think Sony ever owned Crash officially. I think what happened is that Activision already just had the rights. Once again, that's another example. And then and I'll give PlayStation credit, they tried to do something like the Medieval remake, which was it was a nice gesture. It just didn't go anywhere because the game wasn't that popular to begin with. PlayStation's problem is just not respecting its old IPs enough, and Xbox's problem is not having IPs, not having their own normal IPs. Like if you wanted to show me what represents Xbox, like when you look at Nintendo, you could put the Nintendo logo and you imagine Kirby coming out the side, Pikachu coming off the top, Mario running from the side, Link jumping off the side, Samus pointing a gun in the air. You can see a brand of characters fly from that logo. Even PlayStation, you'll see fucking Kratos, you'll see Ratchet and Clank, you'll see Nathan Drake. In some cases, you would see Cole from Infamous. You would see and actually I'll say that because Infamous did have a game on PS4. You could even see shit like Knack come up, right? That's what you would see, and those are all games that they have access to, especially now that they own Insomniac. Like boom, boom, boom. You can see that, but when you look at the Xbox logo, you see Master Chief, you see a big ass car, and you see I don't even know the main character from fucking Gears of War. I'll be real with you. And a lot of people go, well, what about Conquer? What about Banjo? What about Perfect Dark, right? Or what about Blinks the Cat, right? You can see those things, right? Supposedly from that logo. But it feels hollow because they don't make games. Most of those things don't have games to them. Like if we're talking about currently being supported titles, Blinks has been dead since the first fucking console. Conquer got that remake of the first game that was worse than the original for a lot of people, and that's the last we've seen of Conquer, other than it being thrown into weird spin-off games and games that aren't Conquer games. And you know what trips me out about Conquer? Conquer would have worked perfectly on Xbox, and they won't make the fucking game. You don't know who Blinks the Cat is? Let me go show. I think it's like Time Sweepers. What the hell is it? Let me pull up Blinks real quick for you. This is a game that was on the original, or is it Blinks? I think it's with an X though. Yeah, here it is. Blinks the Time Sweeper. I call him Blinks the Cat because he's a cat. I actually like this fucker's design. That's what trips me out. Blinks' design is actually pretty nice. I like it. It was a Marvel concept that they did nothing with. Hold on. Let me show you. Let me just show you this fucker that literally lived and died in the same console generation. This shit is so fucking sad, bro. Busby is not the same thing. We don't talk about Busby. Bubsy, I mean. Did I fucking paste it? Hold on. Oh, copy image. Let me see. Copy image address. I just want to show him to you. Because I think it needs to be shown. Where is the image file? That's not what I want. Let me paste this. Boom. Boom. This is Blinks. Pretty cool design, actually. Oh God. It kind of zoomed him in, but yeah. This actually was this is a cool design. Oddworld. I mean, for God's sakes, Oddworld is still getting games. I forgot about that. Oddworld Soulstorm. Almost completely forgot about Oddworld. Although Oddworld is technically more of a multi-platform game. Sony, to be fair, Sony had the same kind of problem. I'm not gonna just slight Microsoft. But Sony had a big problem with that. A lot of the IPs you thought that Sony owned, they don't own. Like Crash and Spyro and Oddworld. They don't own those titles, which is why they've shown up on other systems. He actually wasn't. The design's actually not bad for him. But bro, they fucking said fuck him. That's what Xbox. I don't know if the game. This isn't. And see, I think that's the problem. Is that I think with those two companies is that it became a situation of, listen, if you don't make a fuck ton of money, I'll never make another game for you. That's how it felt for those two companies. That like certain IPs, if you don't make enough money on the first go around, I'm not making shit else for you. And because of that, there are so many IPs that just fell to the darkness. No Kingdom Hearts here. Just fell to the motherfucking darkness because they didn't make enough for them. So then, like I said, you had situations where PlayStation has a fuck up ton of IPs that people thought they owned and they never owned. People, for the longest time, people thought Tomb Raider was fucking exclusive to play. People looked at Tomb Raider as a PlayStation brand. And then all they really did was make their own version of Tomb Raider, which is why it bums me out. The current Tomb Raider just copies the game that copied it. Okay, all right, let's look at it. Let's look at it, Mohammed. You said Xbox icons. Master Chief, sure. Steve, that was a mainstay before Xbox ever bought it. Marcus Phoenix, fine. Ori, once again, gained its popularity before Xbox bought it. Doomslayer, wait, what? They don't own Doomslayer. Wait, no. Doomslayer is a different character. Oh, hold on. Is that Crackdown? Is that what Doomslayer is? I'm thinking of like the Doom guy, but that's not the same thing. I think Doomslayer is Crackdown. Hold on. No, the problem is when you type in Doomslayer, it just gives me the Doom guy. I hope you're not talking about the Doom guy. I thought Doomslayer was from Crackdown, but I might be wrong. But if you're talking about Doom guy, you're fucking wrong completely. Tracer, you're fucking wrong. Because that game was a mainstay before Xbox bought it. Crash, you could... What? Oh, because of Activision. No, because it was a mainstay before they got it. Vault Boy, which, once again, before they bought it. Spyro, before they bought it. Sinua, that's another one of those. It was before they bought it. Dovakian, I don't know about that one. I don't even recognize that name. Doom guy is Doomslayer. Okay, then what the fuck you think? No, Doom was a household name before they got it. Vault Boy, same thing. Oh, I missed one. Banjo before him. Conquer before him. Diablo before him. Battletoads before him. People don't look at those games and immediately go Xbox. Though they will in the future, but they're not getting props for titles they already gained their cultural respect. Oh, Skyrim. Oh, okay. Didn't know that because I haven't played Skyrim. Dovakian. No. That's like fucking, listen, you can't just give Xbox that immediately just because they just bought the company. The Xbox's variation of them needs to be is what makes them, okay? Crash is currently Activision. There's a difference between Sony Crash and Activision Crash. Those are two different things. Activision Crash finally kind of found a groove they were in, and then they got bought out. But Sony's Crash is the mainstay in Crash. The Crash, when people think of Crash, you think of Sony. Or at recent years, you think of Activision. You don't immediately go Xbox. Same thing with Doom. You don't think immediately Xbox. Fucking, who else am I? Spyro. You don't think Xbox. Setsuna, sure. Tracer, hell no. And also, considering how bad... Ooh... I don't even think we talk about how many people excited for Overwatch 2, bro. How many people excited for Overwatch 2, bro? I saw that preview. I saw the previews. I saw people talk about that game, bruh. Remember when Overwatch was a cultural phenomenon for a while, and then it's completely, and I mean this wholeheartedly, has completely shit the bed on itself. God damn. God damn, bro. God, it bums me out. I just want to mention that real quick. Ori, I could see you seeing as an Xbox mascot. Banjo, most people still look at that version as Nintendo, especially when they got it for fucking Smash. You very much still look at that game as a Nintendo game. Conquer, hell yeah, Nintendo. Fucking Xbox hasn't even released a proper version of Conquer that isn't a remake and is a genuine new game that falls in the line of the original Conquer. The fuck? Diablo hasn't come out with a new title since being bought out, and Battletoads has one new game that looks like a fucking Flash game. I'm surprised you didn't put Killer Instinct on there. That was probably the best thing that came out of Xbox's purchases. And that one's in fucking limbo. Shit. Whole fucking thing is a travesty, bro. Hey, they're Xbox now, but you can't, but there's difference between a franchise that is bought by that company versus a game made by the leadership of the new company, okay? Because fucking, give me an example, Nintendo owned Fatal Frame for a while, but I wouldn't say Fatal Frame felt like a Nintendo IP. The closest it got to feeling like a Nintendo IP was recently. And I don't even know what the situation with that is because, well, have a good time at work, killer. Kill him out there, Z. Kill him out there, Z. Make that money, make that cash. Appreciate it. Appreciate the watch though. What the fuck was I saying? But yeah, Fatal Frame, that is owned by Nintendo, and the closest it's gotten to feeling like a Nintendo IP was his inclusion in Smash and the Nintendo costumes you got for 5. And like I said, we don't know the situation with that IP currently because I don't. They let the newest version be on every system, so Nintendo may have just given that IP back up. Which is, if that's the case, that's a shame because I think Fatal Frame could be something special if they supported it. Yeah, even fucking Sunset Overdrive. Actually, you could have brought up Sunset. Well, actually, it doesn't matter because I don't think they own Sunset Overdrive. Even if they own the IP, which I don't think they do, but even if they own the IP, they can't even get the same developer to make the game anymore because that company is now owned by fucking PlayStation. And it wasn't like PlayStation is out here money hatting either and buying companies. You got to know the proper investments to make. Yeah, that's what I said. Fatal Frame doesn't really feel like a Nintendo IP because it technically isn't. Nintendo still part owns it. So Nintendo must have just given them the go-ahead to release it on all the other consoles. Because that was the one thing about Fatal Frame 5 when that came out on all the systems. We were like, but why though? It's kind of like how Nintendo, it's funny, like giving an example, actually Nintendo and Bayonetta. Bayonetta would be the best example of what I'm talking about. Bayonetta, when it first came out, I think most people looked at it as a free agent because it was on the 360. It was on the 360 and it was on the PlayStation 3. And then nobody fucking supported it. Technically, Bayonetta is a Sega IP because Sega owns the character. And then Nintendo went ahead and bought the rights for Bayonetta 2 and 3 to come out exclusively on Nintendo consoles. And now, most of the fan base would tell you they view Bayonetta as a Nintendo IP. Even though technically, that's not 100% true. Bayonetta technically, for most people associate with Nintendo. When you think Bayonetta now, you think Nintendo. Why? Because Nintendo is supporting 2 titles, put her in their main fucking fighting game. She is borderline a Nintendo IP at this point. As Next Gen 720 would say, be the behemoth you are. I don't really get that one, Muhammad, not gonna lie. Xbox is literally like a spoiled kid that bought their way into the club that they would have never gotten into otherwise. Actually, that's probably the best way to describe Xbox. Xbox carved out its own little fan base of dude bros. They're also the worst, but it's also the worst part of gaming's fan base. You wanna know why? Those fuckers don't play anything else. Those are the same sons of bitches that literally play like these 1 or 2 titles, and that is fucking it. And that's why that's why when I gave Xbox credit for trying to push and support Japanese games on their system, and I found out them bitches still weren't selling well, I then realized at that point Xbox couldn't do a goddamn thing. Because the issue wasn't that the shit wasn't available. The issue wasn't even the fact that they weren't promoting it. The issue with Xbox is simply that their fan base has no fucks to give about Japanese games, RPG games, games that don't have a Western feel to them. And it fucking sucked. It fucking sucked. Let's see. If it wasn't for Nintendo, I don't think there would have been a second Bayonetta game. Oh no, that's true, Antrite. That's probably true. That's 100% true. Which is why I said Bayonetta very much feels now like a Nintendo IP. Like when you think Bayonetta, ironically enough, the next thing you're thinking, Nintendo. Because more likely when you see her, you only see her on Nintendo except for the first game. The first game, for what I remember, technically is like a free agent game. So that's why they can re-release that on any console or PC like they want. But the second and third game are specifically like fucking Jesus Christ. We have almost 60 viewers in here. Jesus. I appreciate that, guys. I really do. Let's see. But yeah, Bayonetta now just feels like a Nintendo game. That's how you can say a game is properly transitioned into a new owner, right? And we don't talk about Xbox should have uncanceled Scalebound. And that was because Xbox's game design philosophy heavily clashed with Platinum's. Because they essentially, if you look at Scalebound very much looks like it was meant to be their variation of Devil May Cry. A lot of Scalebound reminds me of a variation of Devil May Cry. And they were focusing on online and shit because that's Xbox's bread and butter. It's fucking online. And Platinum has never given that much of a fuck about that. Their best games either don't have online or it's not a focus. What's up, Jazzy? We're in the 60 viewers, baby. Appreciate the fucking support. This is like the most viewers I've gotten on a live stream. And we're gonna keep this bitch running. Sorry, I'm a little hyped up. Let me hydrate myself. Hold on. I do see Xbox fans do want JRPGs to agree. Yeah, but the problem is that it's no longer, for the other two consoles, it's almost like obvious. Nintendo and Sony, yeah, of course you're getting JRPGs. We don't talk about Babylon Fall. Babylon's Fall is a game that just does not need to survive in any way, shape, or form. That can go die in a fire. I feel like I missed a question or a line. Xbox gamers are apparently into shooter and multiplayer games. Of course, because like I said, that's how Xbox claims its stake in the gaming industry. Xbox is the online multiplayer console. If you're playing online multiplayer, you're playing 110% on an Xbox console, because let's be real, Xbox has the best online, which is perfectly fair to say, considering they're owned by fucking Microsoft. They better have the best online. The fuck? Who in the hell? Who in the hell, bro? Damn. That just fuck. I need to chill the fuck out, bro. Look up the MC for Scalebound. He literally looked. Yeah, exactly. When I saw his ass, he immediately reminds me of like a Devil May Cry character for Scalebound. He immediately looks like a fucking Scalebound character. And motherfuckers want to sit here and talk about that's not what they were trying to do. The problem is that like Xbox, I think, had good intentions in certain portions, but they almost keep their head in their own ass. Mojave games I've been playing Japanese binge on Game Pass. You're missing the point. My issue isn't that Xbox hasn't been promoting Japanese games. That's actually the thing I've given them the most credit for. They have gone out of their way to openly push more Japanese titles on their systems, and it's fucking great. Here's the fucking problem. Their fan base doesn't give a fuck, like at all. Or not enough of their fan base gives a fuck for them to think it's a viable thing to keep doing. Also, I think Xbox needs to recognize that not every one of their IPs is going to sell gangbusters. Some IPs are only meant to sell a little bit, and some IPs are meant to sell like crazy. But you support both because you gain a big variety of a fan base that way. Not all of Nintendo's IPs sell gangbusters. I mean, hell, look at the 3DS. The 3DS has a fuck ton of smaller titles on it that's still sold well enough for them to keep pushing. Think about Dylan. I always bring Dylan up because I kind of wish they would give Dylan a bigger, give it like a mainstream title. But Dylan has 3 games. Dylan has 3 titles, and they're all on the 3DS. And they still push Dylan. Dylan was pushed every time it came out. And I fucking love that. Pushmo. I don't think I forgot about Pushmo. The fuck? Even like the weird smaller titles like the Rusty's, what the fuck was it called? It's like the Crane game with Rusty. I forget. It's like Rusty's Baseball or something along those lines. I may have gotten that wrong. Remember when Microsoft made that announcement that these new IPs and movies, when Xbox One came out, most of the game flawed and the other ones were canceled. Exactly. What the fuck is Dylan? Dylan's Rolling Western. You've seen him. He's a armadillo with like a cowboy hat. And his game is a mixture of an action. We got 69. I don't think 69. I got 65 on my thing. But Dylan, they pushed Dylan. Nintendo let Dylan keep going, and I know Dylan wasn't killing money like that. But Dylan, hell, people still want Dylan on consoles. And I hope Nintendo does it, because I very much would like to see him thrive. He's a character that, it's crazy to me that people won't talk about like the new IPs that are still being supported. Fucking ARMS. ARMS is goated, and I would be fucking floored if they didn't put out a sequel to ARMS. Splatoon. People don't realize Splatoon is only 7 years old as an IP. Splatoon has 3 games and is only 7 years old. Nintendo has their own popular shooter because they were willing to invest in new ideas and keep that bitch going. Everything from Splatoon to ARMS to even Pushmo, which is technically a younger IP. Fucking and Dylan, fucking Box Boy for God's sakes, which, you know, look at Box Boy how you will. Even fucking Sushi Striker is technically a new IP. Ring Fit Adventure. Same fucking thing. Same fucking thing, bro. People gotta understand, not every IP needs to sell like Rusty's Real Deal Baseball. Thank you, Bad Latency. I knew it was something Rusty's Baseball. I couldn't think of the fucking full title. God damn. But investing in these smaller games is worth the effort. But people see, for some reason, PlayStation and Xbox don't give a fuck about that. PlayStation rather just give you five or six main IPs, some of them new and some of them old, and that's it. Talking about, oh, we got another game from Insomniac, it's another Spider-Man game, and then here's Wolverine, and I'm like, okay, God of War, all right, Horizon, sure, it's only the second game. Fucking, what was it, a remake of Uncharted? Was it a remake or a collection? I forget which, but the point is, more Uncharted. And someone's in the back, like, and then you give us that one. And Medieval, I'll give them credit. Like I said, that was at least a game that existed. Ever Oasis just came out too late. I'll be real with you on that one. Even Dragalia Lost is technically a new Nintendo IP. You think they're gonna hoe out Chibi Robo again? I don't think they're gonna make another Chibi Robo game. You know who I would like to see take a crack at Chibi Robo is probably Atlas. Atlas, I think, would have fun with Chibi Robo. I don't know. That's a personal opinion. But yeah, that's how I personally feel when it comes to like the console war as of currently. There is none, because if we're being objective, Nintendo wins. Nintendo wins just for having available consoles, all right? And if we're talking about anything else, Microsoft and Sony are fighting for second place, and they're both handicapped like a motherfucker. Both of their own doing, by the way. Probably more so Microsoft. Because all Microsoft needs to do is make games and fucking release the bitch. Actually, you know what the core of Xbox's problem is? Not even making games. Let me break this bitch down as fucking specific as I can get. Take your fucking developers, come up with a game concept or idea you want to do, and make a game, but don't just make a game, because this is the key here. This is the key. Make a good game. Oh, Jesus Christ, bro. Make a good game. You can't make games. Make a good game. Yeah, I have the Xbox Series X still. I do still have it. I had the Xbox video out, what was that, a week or so ago? This is fucking, you can even bring up Demon X Machina. For God's sakes, we're getting revivals of Wii titles like fucking No More Heroes. For God's sakes, No More Heroes 3 is a little jank in terms of like graphics, but as a game, No More Heroes fucking kills it, dog. Are you having expectations for Xbox? Now you really are and saying, oh wow, Orion Sword killing it with his comedy today. Also, 69 viewers, Lamau. 69 motherfucking viewers. Is that just on YouTube or is that what my XSplit tells me? No, my XSplit tells me oh no, I see what it's doing. It's not 69 viewers. It's 69 views. My bad. I feel so bad, dog. I fucked it up completely. I'm looking like, oh, I got 69 viewers. That's not what it was. It was 69 views. I have 28 viewers. Sorry. I've been talking like I have all these fucking views like I'm crazy. Isn't Blandrew an Xbox ambassador now? Hey, look, I don't give... And Blandrew is a grown-ass man. He can do what the fuck he wants. I ain't got to agree with him. I like Blandrew, but that doesn't necessarily mean I agree with everything. Xbox is probably the one sitting worse of all the consoles in terms of just games, because at the end of the day, at least when you buy a PS5, there are games to play on PS5. When you buy an Xbox, you're getting Game Pass. You probably won't even buy an Xbox game, because there's no need to. Especially when all the Xbox titles are immediately available on Game Pass. Why didn't I sell my Xbox? I went through this in the video. All right, I'm not gonna repeat the same things with the video. Okay, watch the video if you want my opinions on the Xbox Series X. Let's see. Deus Ex Machina. It's kind of hard for me to judge that one because like I didn't play a lot of it, but I'm also not a mech guy anyway, so that really wasn't up my alley to begin with. Xbox needs a new IP that they're gonna support, and I think Xbox. And here's the thing that people need to understand. When they support their new IP, they need to push the new IP and don't expect it to sell like crazy. Because honestly, another Recore would have been fine. Another Rise would have been fine. People don't mind as long as you're like trying to make changes and improve an IP, because you gain more fans for that game by trying to give it a chance. I mean, obviously, it's eventually going to have to make... Wait, Xbox has Oni... Wait, they have Oni Chambra? I thought that was... Who the fuck? Wait a minute. If that's what I think that is... Hold on. Time to Google it. Time to Google it. If Oni Chambra is what I think it is... Yeah, that's the fuck... That game still comes out. There's PlayStation 4 games of that. But who owns that? Who owns that IP? Looks like it's like Xseed or something. That's essentially just like... That's like a realistic version of fucking... Senran Kagura. I can't wait for the world's first... quadruple A perfect dark. Oh no! I forgot. Oni Chambra was on the Wii? What the fuck? Didn't know that. Sorry, I got fucking distracted. Jesus Christ. But Oni Chambra, I didn't think... no, they don't own that game. Okay, that's what I thought. I was a little confused. I was like, what the fuck? Hold up. What are we doing here? This feels like entertainment as a whole. It's not... If it's not Blockbuster, then we won't even consider it. Exactly, that's the problem. We're having to Rise. You know what Rise Son of Rome? They came out with one game and said, fuck that. Who developed Rise? Now that I think about it, who was the developer for Rise? Or does it just say Microsoft Game Studios? Let's look. Is it? Oh, Crytek. Crytek did that. What the fuck? Did they just not think there was any... Granted, to be fair, Rise is a boring-ass concept. Rise visually just was a boring concept, and Assassin's Creed would make a better version of that game later on, ironically enough. But that was just a boring fucking concept. Jesus Christ. Live Alive coming back, but that's Square getting their shit together. As long as Square doesn't... Like I said, big budget Square I don't fucking trust. But like, AA Square, we're perfectly cool, bro. I fuck with AA Square heavy, but fucking AAA Square, I don't know, bro. You might want to sit your goofy ass down, bro. They need a big titty anime girl game. To be fair, I don't think any of the main companies have big titty anime girl games. They have those games on their systems, but none of them actually have that as an IP. I guess the closest would be Nintendo, and it's not really that. They just have female focuses in games, but like nobody really has big titty anime girls. You know what I like to see? I like to see someone like buy like Dead or Alive or some of the other fighting games and kind of let them expand on their own rights, because I feel like some of them DOA really needs help, dog. It hurts me so fucking much. And the fact that, because isn't DOA Koei Tecmo, if I remember correctly? Dog, DOA needs so much help, bruh. I feel so bad for Dead or Alive, because they keep fucking it up with that stupid DLC bullshit. Yeah, we got the Klonoa remake, which ironically enough was promoted on Nintendo's thing first, even though it's coming out on PlayStation and Xbox, if I remember correct. Dead or Alive has, I think we had the newest Dead or Alive is 5 or 6. No, it's 6. And that game was a fine game, but got fucked up in its own controversy because it tried to be more respectable, forgetting that you're fucking dead or alive. Like, it's, come on, bro. It's Dead or Alive. Dead or Alive, just fucking, like, revel in your fan service. That's what you do. That's why people like Dead or Alive. We like Dead or Alive literally because of it reveling in its fan service. Also, it gave me a fucking ban. That's not what I was looking for. I'm talking about game. Jesus Christ. Yeah, 6 was the last game, and that's Koei Tecmo, isn't it? Yeah. I would like to see Nintendo at least. I don't think Nintendo would, but I would like to see them try. One could argue that Xenoblade is a big titty anime waifu game, but not actually the point of the story and world building. Xenoblade, unfortunately, is more about giant swords and riding on titans. That's kind of like when you explain Xenoblade to somebody, it's like living on giant creatures and fighting with giant anime swords. Did I play the extreme games? Oh, you mean the volleyball games? No, I did not. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm wondering why Nintendo ever even bothered getting the license for Fatal Frame when, like, they've never had horror games. Once again, I'd like to see all these companies trying to put their feet in more shit. I would like Sony to try more platformers. They're not going to fucking do it. But I'd definitely like to see it. I would like to see them do more platformers. But, fuck, I'm trying to think if there was anything else of note, because now we're just rambling. Dead or Alive found Christ, and now the streets have to suffer. No! They should have gave them all nun costumes, bruh. Also, if you were in the West, you can say a bunch of British dudes are anime characters. Oh, shit. Yo! Yeah, I did Eternal Darkness like once. The fuck? I don't count that. We need something consistent, damn it. I don't know why that cracked me up. Sackboy has flipped in so many different scripts, it confuses me. That game used to be the build your own game. Now it's just kind of an okay platformer. But Jesus fucking Christ, that they stopped caring for Dead or Alive because Dead or Alive, unfortunately, will never reach the heights of any other fighting game because of its fan servicey nature, which is why I think they tried to tone it down, and it just paid for it immensely. I think Dead or Alive should have been happy being in the position it was, and if anything, just lean into it. Dead or Alive, it's funny to me that Dead or Alive originally is like, it's from 96 if I remember correctly. Yeah, 1996 is what it's from. Dead or Alive is like fucking 28 years old, I want to say. And god damn it, I wish they would just let it run the way it wants to run. Have fun with it. We'll never get another Gravity Rush. No, we won't. But that's also, that's Sony not having faith in its Japanese heritage. And unfortunately, like, if they go on the foots of Capcom, they're gonna have to bust their ass financially before they're like, oh, maybe we shouldn't have forsaked our own goddamn country. DOA hasn't released DLC in a while. I don't know. Let's look. Every time I look at DOA's DLC, it makes me sad because the DLC for DOA is like insanely expensive. Let's see. I wanted to look at for the normal way, and they wouldn't let me. So, Dead or Alive. I need to click this on the store. The last time, and once again, it's not even a bad game. It's just fucking. They wanted to try to be taken seriously, and they did a terrible job of it. And they essentially ended up backpedaling anyway. What was the last bit of DLC released? There's over 461 pieces of add-ons. Jesus Christ. Oh, they don't even have any upcoming releases. Looks like the last things that were put out were like... we're back in 2020. That's what it looks like anyway. Yeah, 2020 was the last year they put out any DLC for 6, looks like. Yeah. Early 2022. Not even like, it's not even like late 2020. It's like early. Yeah, the last one we got was April 13th, 2020. So yeah, DOA, I feel like, and it makes me sad, bro. DOA is one of those IPs I would like to see it do better. And it won't. It won't, and it makes me sad. Yeah, it's like 300. It's fucking ridiculous. Is Simran Kagra dead now because of the creator left? Kind of. And aren't they doing that crossover Neptunia game, if I remember correctly? Simran Kagra is a weird situation because it's another one of those IPs that it's funny because it started on the 3DS, went to PlayStation, and then kind of hovers now in a dead zone because the country it was making games in actively rejected it. Or what really happened is that they want to release games on PlayStation, and PlayStation's like, we ain't about that noise. Which is why you have games on there that are uncensored and censored. The PS4 has uncensored and censored Simran Kagra games. No fucking sense. No goddamn sense. I can't count mobile, but yeah. Yeah, Red Dragon already mentioned it. Yeah, the last game they had was that crossover game with Neptunia. Which, is Neptunia still a thing? Like, is that, because I remember that a lot on the PS3, and it feels like they just don't come out anymore. And that's the other thing we also got to remember. The game industry in itself is just changing. There's a bunch of companies that either don't exist anymore, the IPs have gone to completely different companies that never had studios that were interested in making games for them. And we just lost a lot. It's also that kind of goes into the console war thing. Do you really fucking care when you got IPs that are just dying in hell? They're just in hell. They're just in, like, hell because the fucking publisher's gone. The tune's still pretty good. Good to, all right, good to hear. Good to hear. The P? Revolver, what? The P. What's up, my dog? What's up, the P? It's time to pee because it's the P time. It's pee time, yo. Hold on. But I'm trying to think. I think that was really the main gist of the console work argument, is that it really shouldn't happen. Of course they're not selling. And part of the reason why they're not selling is because they only got really one console to put them on now. You have a Nintendo Switch. And eventually those games get oversaturated on one console. So some of those games don't stick out as much. Like Danganronpa, I think, was one of the games that stuck out so much because it was on like its own little system. It was on the Vita, right? Danganronpa was like a household name. And then they ported everything to Switch. So now you just play Danganronpa on Switch because, we don't support the Vita anymore. LOL. But they're also not as popular now, too. I would agree with that, Black Doom. Part of it's oversaturation. When you got all these different types of games, eventually some of these titles just don't keep making it. On top of that, the novelty wears off. Like, Danganronpa was incredibly unique and innovative from when it came out. And now it's like, bro, we're like 6 or 7 games in. It's kind of like, oh, it's another Danganronpa game. I think that's part of the reason why Phoenix Wright takes breaks a lot. Where like Phoenix Wright will have a main title, and then you'll get maybe like a side game or some shit, and then it'll kind of come back later. Oh, PSP, there we go, PSP. There we go. I didn't know if it was on the PSP or Vita, but we have the PSP. Um, the bad part about Sony is that they influence how the industry moves. Cutting off Japan will hurt them eventually. Yeah, but the problem is until then we have to suffer as gamers. As gamers, that means we get less Japanese titles. You know, what the fuck was that game I bought on the PlayStation? It's made by Gust. It's Koei Tecmo, but it's like their Gust team. Hold on. I have it. It's on Switch and it's on PlayStation 4. Let me see. Oh, what the fuck is it called? Oh, Knights of Azure. Knights of Azure. That was one that I tried for the fuck of it. No, I'll Terrorizer. That's another IP too. But Knights of Azure I thought was a fine game. And that game, I imagine, will just kind of die in obscurity. Wait, what? Wait, which one did I play? I see Knights of Azure and I see Knights of Azure 2. Did I play Knights of Azure 2? Is that what I played? Ha, that is what I played. I played Knights of Azure 2. Ha, I did play that. Night clocked it. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it, bro. Let's see. But yeah, that one is just shot. And I thought that was a decent title. Yeah, I played 2. It's 2. And that one just died. That one just died. But I appreciate Koei Tecmo for having the smaller titles and trying stuff. Same thing with Capcom, same thing with Square Enix. That's the thing I think people have forgotten about. The importance of AA. It's become all about the AAA. And so now the big companies only care about their high-end titles that sell a ridiculous amount of shit. But I'm like, what about the AA titles? Like the Phoenix Wrights are important because I don't know. Well, actually, I guess that's the question. Just using Capcom as an example, what are AA series for Capcom? For the longest time, I think their heavy hitters were always like Street Fighter, Mega Man, Resident Evil. Monster Hunter has become, to me, a AAA IP for Capcom. I don't think it originally was, but it definitely has become that. Whereas games like Phoenix Wright, I think, is a AA title. I feel like I'm missing a fuck ton of. Dead Rising is definitely a AA title now. I think it was still meant to be AAA. Wait, Mega Man's considered AA? What the fuck? Well, you know, the problem is Mega Man doesn't release as often. I think we got a list of Capcom's best-selling series. Hold on. Hold on. Didn't we get a list? Yeah, Resident Evil sells the most, but it was like Resident Evil. Oh, Devil May Cry is still considered. What? That's surprising. Mega Man was their 4th, Street Fighter was their 3rd, Monster Hunter was their 2nd, and Resident Evil was their 1st. Got it. I don't know if I would consider Mega Man their 2nd one. Mega Man became a AA since they don't have faith on the IP. Mega Man is AA depending on the series, but the fact that Mega Man had so many spin-off series is what makes me debate on whether or not I would call it a AA series. Like, Mega Man has like 3 or 4 variations. Mega Man X, Mega Man Battle Network, Mega Man Zero, fucking, what's the other one? Mega Man, shit. Fuck, I completely lost it. There's another one. It's not the Zero series, but it's one of the newer ones. Maybe that was it. Oh, Mega Man Legends. That's what I was thinking of, Mega Man Legends. Mega Man has... I feel like Mega Man justifiably can't be considered AA. I think objectively Mega Man overall as a series is AAA. But considering it's the 4th best-selling IP that Capcom has, next to fucking DMC, which is a little confusing to me because Devil May Cry in the last few years has only had like 2 titles, which is 5 and that shitty ass reboot that no one likes. How the fuck is Devil May Cry one of their... I feel like Phoenix Wright should have sold more than DMC, but I guess to be fair, Devil May Cry has a better mass market appeal than Phoenix Wright. Phoenix Wright is just niche as fuck. It's just really good as a niche title. The main Capcom AAA titles are Resident Evil, Street Fighter, Monster Hunter, and Devil May Cry. Why do people not want to give Mega Man the fucking respect, bro? I don't understand this shit, dude. I don't understand this disrespect, dog. They just say... So I looked at the top 10. The top 10 Capcom, and they put Lost Planet as number 10. Right under that, right above that is Phoenix Wright. Onimusha, which confuses me because Onimusha hasn't had a new game. Marvel vs. Capcom, I can see that easily. Dead Rising, I'm surprised, sells more than Marvel vs. Capcom. That just seems offensive to me. And then obviously Devil May Cry, Mega Man, Street Fighter, Monster Hunter. I'm glad to see Monster Hunter as high as it is, though. I feel like Monster Hunter has really fucking stepped up over the years. I'm very happy about that, actually. Let's see. Lost Planet 3 destroyed the Lost Planet series. They didn't screw up. Didn't they screw up Lost Planet 3? Terrell blamed Capcom on their grudge for Inafune. 2 is still the best, though. The train fight is still so good. I haven't played Lost Planet. I do need to... that's another IP I want to try out. Actually, now I think about it, what the hell are the top selling franchises for Sega? I know Sonic is probably number 1, but I'm trying to think of everything else. Because Sega has things it could be doing, but, you know... I don't know, Sega's like in a weird place for me, personally. It's telling me Sega Genesis games. I'm about Sega... I should probably put franchises. Yakuza is probably up there, I would agree. Let's see. They say 10 best-selling franchises that aren't Sonic the Hedgehog. What the fuck? Golden Axe, was that made anything new of? House of the Dead, which we got that remake recently. Jet Set Radio, which... Once again, oh wait a minute, these are just... I feel like this is not the franchises, these are just things. Why is there not... Oh, here it is. This is from 2020. So, oh, hold on. Let me close that out. Sonic is 1 billion, is over 1 billion, that makes sense. Persona, I guess, technically would be theirs, technically. So I guess it'd be like... I think it's... I'm trying to look to see what's selling more. Total War? What the hell is Total War? I don't even recognize that title. Puyo Puyo, I mean, that makes sense. I'm not surprised by Puyo Puyo being on that list. Football Manager is a little surprising. Let's see. Chain Chronicles, another one I don't know of. And then when we start getting into like the 14, 15 million is when you get Yakuza, Persona, and Shin Megami Tensei. Shin Megami Tensei, ironically enough, still sells more than Persona. Fucking surprised by that, because I thought Shin Megami Tensei sold less. But I'm glad it's still selling more than its fucking spinoff. Although that gap's kind of close, I'm a little concerned. And then at the bottom is like... At the bottom is like fucking Soccer Wars. And like Hatsume and Miku. Total War is a major PC franchise? Gotcha. Didn't know that. Actually, that's true, Revolver. Most people fuck with almost every single, like, Monster Hunter game. Well, no, I know Shin Megami Tensei is the origin, but let's be real here. When you're talking about, like, cultural relevance, Persona is probably more well known than Shin Megami Tensei, unfortunately. You know, did anyone like the new Sakura Wars on the PlayStation 4? Because I have that game. I've yet to start it, but I do have it. Valkyria Chronicles is not even on this list. Unless, which is weird because we're on Valkyria Chronicles 4, but let's be real here. Only some of those IPs. When it comes to Valkyria Chronicles, only 2 of those games people like. But let me see if I can search Valkyria Chronicles. Where the hell did the find button go? God damn it. Sega needs to push Valkyria Chronicles more. Yeah, I highly enjoyed that 4th game, and I started playing the first one. I just need to finish it. Like everything else in my fucking backlog. Okay, you haven't played the PS4 version yet. That's fine. I'm just curious. What? I have to think it's about. Hold on. What the fuck? Let's see. Sorry, I'm skimming information right now. Sorry, that's why I'm quiet. Let's see. Valkyria Chronicles seems to be in this weird dead zone where people aren't sure what the situation is for it currently, which is a shame, but it makes sense because Valkyria Chronicles was never like a hard hitting IP. But it also, like I said, for Sega, it also boils down to like how much money it makes. And apparently, Sakura Wars makes more money than Valkyria Chronicles. I know that much. And that just means the chances of making more Valkyria Chronicles games gets lower. Because the Hurt 4 didn't sell insanely well. It sold alright, but it didn't sell well. Which I think is what the core issue is. It's like, why am I going to give you more money for these games? And these games aren't even selling like that. Who made White Knight Chronicles? Oh, Sony owns that. Sakura Wars still sells well. I double dip on Steam for both 4 and the remake. Yeah, I own 4 on Switch and I own the original Valkyria Chronicles game on Steam. I was gonna rebuy it for Switch, but I'm like, I already own the game. It just seems fucking redundant. But now we're kind of just getting into like gaming minutia. It's just all the things I wanted to bring up. But I think Tyrone is currently streaming on Twitch. I was gonna. Hold on, let me see. Let me close that out. Because I think we really hit the main topic, and I don't want to drag shit out too long. My main thing was just kind of doing the main topic. But I think we've covered pretty much everything to say. Unless you guys had questions, I don't mind sitting on for questions for a little bit. It doesn't have to necessarily be about what we're currently talking about. I'm just curious. If I heard right, Valkyria Chronicles 1 through 4 happened at the same time. Bro, they make a Sakura 4 on Switch. It's over. It's over. It's 100% over if they make a Sakura Wars for Switch. I'm curious because Sega hadn't really done a lot other than so Sega's been really pushing Yakuza over the last few years. For Sega, it's been like, actually, yeah. Now I think about it, even though these top IPs that Sega has. Whoops, I went too far up, huh? Even though these top IPs, the ones that still get games really consistently is like Sonic, Puyo Puyo, Yakuza. I guess technically Shin Megami Tensei because that just came out with a new game. And Sakura Wars hasn't had any conversations other than that last game on PS4. I have not played the Trail series. Let's see. What are your thoughts on about the news of PS Plus news? Oh, that. Let's look at it real quick. Now you guys mentioned it. Let's look at the new PS Plus and how much everything costs. Because I'm curious how you guys feel about it anyway. Yeah, I saw the Velma situation. I was just kind of like, I was for multiple reasons. So let's look. Does it give me the? I need the fucking full explanation of the new PlayStation Plus. Don't give me like just PS Plus. No, that's what it did. All right, here we go. So we got it's a breakdown of the PlayStation Plus. Let's look. The base version is still exactly the same. $60 a year. You get online access. You get 2 PlayStation 4 games and 1 PS5 game to download every month. The exclusive discounts and more. Then the PlayStation Plus Extra is all those things, except you also get a catalog of PS4 and PS5 games to download for $100 a year. And then you got PlayStation Plus Premium, which gives you everything that's in PlayStation Plus Extra. Plus, you can do classic games catalog and cloud streaming to play hundreds of games from each catalog without waiting for downloads. And I guess my problem with it, I don't know. I'm kind of weird about it because I don't really, for me personally, it doesn't seem like it's worth it. Like, see, I'll give you an example. Nintendo just charged you an extra $25 or $20 for the N64 and the N64 and Sega Genesis, right? And with those two, that's an ever-growing catalog of titles. But like, let's say they add GBA or some shit. I don't know, honestly. I'll be real with you. I had a thought, but I'm trying to think this out. I don't know. I don't really think it's that big of a deal. It being optional is kind of like what makes me. But like the problem is, I don't know how many people are gonna really jump up just because of that. But asking someone to go from $60 a year to $100 a year to then go to $120 a year for minor things like downloadable PS4 and PS5 games, sure, but now you're even more expensive than Game Pass. Also, downloading two free PS4 and one PS5 game doesn't matter if I get extra, which essentially just gives me a whole catalog of titles. I don't know. The PS1 titles are absolutely anemic to the point of being dead already. I mean, because really what I'm doing is I'm paying you $30 extra to get access to PS4 and PS5 games. But like, how frequent are those games? Like, do I have an ever-growing catalog of PS4 and PS5 games? Or is it a rotating catalog? Like, I don't know the specifics. And is this even out yet? Hold on. I need to check a video real quick. When does this become available? June 13th. June 13th. So, actually 3 days before my birthday. I could see people playing for maybe the extra. Because getting PS4 and PS5 games, I can see people doing the $100 one. The $120 just to get access to a bunch of classic titles for cloud streaming. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I can see people paying for the PS4 and PS5 stuff. Do you own these digital games? I doubt it. I doubt it. Let's look. Let's look. That wasn't the one I was trying to grab. Fuck you. Oh, I gotta go back. Hold on. Let's see. If you purchase PlayStation Plus and subscribe to search changes, and you have access to subscribe for 12 months. I don't care about that. Online multiplayer. The PlayStation Plus collection, God of War, Uncharted, Last of Us, Days Gone. All right. Here's some. Here's some frequently asked questions. FAQ. I don't care about that. No. Let's see. Yeah, they don't really give you specifics of the questions. Honestly, with this one, I just need to see how it plays out. Because they don't give me enough information to really make a true decision on it yet. Like, I literally would have to see how they handle it. But I also agree that more likely you don't own those games. More likely it's either going to be like PlayStation Plus where like you can download them, but like if you don't have the service, you can't play them. Let's see. PSP games will be downloaded PS3 zone when it's streaming. I still have the PS2 and I could play PS2 1 and 2 burnt discs. Yeah, I don't know. Paying $120 just to get access to classic games, I feel like is a little. To me, that's the only scummy part. Like, why the fuck do I have to pay you an extra $60 a year to get access to classic games? Because let's say I don't give a fuck about the PS4 and PS5 games. You probably do, but let's say you don't, and you only want the classic titles. You literally have to fucking like. You have to pay the extra $60 a year just to get access to that stuff. And in my mind, that's kind of scummy. I feel like it should have been the reverse. The classic game should have been a little bit more, and the PS4, PS5 game should have been like a lot more because those are brand new titles. They said if you own the PSP and PS4 games that you already bought, you can download for free. Huh. I don't know. I think I'm going to hold off on saying anything about that service. I need to see people get their hands on it and then see their opinions. I'm thinking that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play the wait and see approach. I remember when digital meant cheaper. You're right. People thought that, and people were wrong, and we all hated it. But I think I'll call it for now, guys. I think we kind of addressed the main topic. And I'll probably do another stream within the next week or two. So look out for that. I'll try to schedule it like a couple days in advance so you know what's coming instead of like a few hours before. But this one was more of like, I know I needed to put out something and I forgot to fucking tell you guys in advance. Also, if you want to keep following me on social media, Twitter is in that Linktree link. The Discord's in there. Tonight, I'll be streaming Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition on Twitch. So follow me on Twitch if you want to. Also, side note, I have something I got to do next Tuesday. So we'll probably do Kingdom Hearts tomorrow, guys. So if you want to see Kingdom Hearts, it'll probably be tomorrow, like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So look forward to that if you want to do more Kingdom Hearts. If you want to see Kingdom Hearts. Fuck you, TypeZ. I love you, but fuck you. So look forward to that. I'll have a couple of new videos I'm working on that'll be out hopefully within the next week or so. And for those who are graduating or finishing up school, congratulations, you've done it. I'm glad you've gone through. Go get your money, and may your heart be your guiding key, LOL. But you're right, Sony is pushing it with the pricing. $120 is just a lot. That's a lot to even consider. Life's a game, play to win, and I will catch you guys later. Peace. One Piece. Gum Gum Gatling. All right, I'm done. I'm out, y'all. I love you guys. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for the views. I love you guys. Peace all.